Could AI be the key to navigating today's ever-evolving corporate landscape? There's a lot of excitement around this space at the moment, and I want to dig a little bit deeper and explore beyond the AI buzzword. And today I'm joined by Linda Yao, COO of Lenovo Solutions and Services Group. And we're going to discuss the transformative role of artificial intelligence in business. And Linda's the perfect person to do that. She oversees the company's AI services and is at the helm of Lenovo's newly established AI Centre of Excellence. So with her unique vantage point on global AI adoption trends and challenges businesses face in scaling these technologies, Linda's going to share her invaluable insights on bridging organisational gaps and harnessing AI responsibly and effectively. Delivering daily content to 140,000 of you wonderful monthly listeners across the globe is no small feat. I don't want to take all the credit here because it wouldn't be possible without the backing of our dedicated sponsors and partners. And I also want to shine a light on the fact that legacy managed file transfer tools are looking dated. They often lack the security that today's remote workforce demands. And companies that continue relying on that outdated tech, they're in danger of putting their sensitive data at risk. Attention IT professionals, are you tired of juggling these multiple servers for secure file sharing? Integrated shared folders and email plus a comprehensive REST API. Kiteworks simplifies your workflow. For administrators, you can experience unmatched functionality and integration that traditional MFT servers just can't touch. Step into the future of secure managed file transfer with Kiteworks by going to kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com. And remember, Kiteworks is also FedRAMP moderate authorized. Thank you for your patience today. This is the moment you've been waiting for. It's time to welcome my guest onto the show. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way stateside where Linda is waiting to join us. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Linda. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Neil, for having me here. I'm really excited for a great conversation. A little bit about myself. I'm Linda Yao. I work at Lenovo. We're a Fortune 217 firm and a global technology industry. I have the great pleasure of leading strategy, operations, and AI for our newest business group called the Solutions and Services Group. We really launched this business group 3.5 years ago in order to address more and more customer demand that we were seeing in the IT and technology market around solutions and services, and customers wanting to take their IT technology and equipment to the next level, right? By being able to apply them to achieve outcomes for their businesses. And so that's why we created this group. Again, I have the pleasure of leading strategy, operations, and most recently, AI. For AI, what we realized in the past 18 to 24 months is that this has truly become a catalyst that is helping ourselves as well as our customers to adopt and transform the way that we do business with technology. And so I'm very excited that we were able to launch Lenovo AI Services with the mission exactly to help those organizations move successfully from AI concepts and everything that we hear in the news and in the academic research to real results.
Well, I was quite excited to get you on the podcast today because so much we can talk about here. And you've mentioned the new AI services. And one of the things I always do on this podcast, and I take it all over the world, been to 8 or 9 different conferences in the US this year, hearing so much about the exciting new AI products and services that are coming out. But also, I enjoy talking about what the customer demand, the problems that we're solving, getting behind that or beyond that AI buzzword that we're all hearing so much about and so much excitement. So, Linda, from your viewpoint here, can you share your insights on the current state of AI adoption that you're seeing at Lenovo and from your customers globally, because there is a lot of hype, but equally a lot of excitement and a lot of problems being solved, isn't there?
There absolutely is. And what a big question, right? I know that all of us inside of our organizations are grappling with AI and Gen AI and new technologies as they emerge. This doesn't impact just me as an AI leader, but also working with my CIO, right? My CTO, my CDO, and the newly appointed Chief AI Officers, the CAIOs across organizations. As I step back and speak with these decision makers at customers and at partners, what I've found is an astonishing number, right? In our latest survey, 96% of CIOs expect to invest more in AI and in Gen AI in the coming year. And I think that's incredibly exciting, right? Because they see the opportunity that this technology can bring to their businesses and to their business partners. And either they see the opportunity or their business partners and line of business leaders are actually asking for it. So that's incredibly exciting. The other thing that I think gives me a little bit of trepidation, but also enthusiasm, is the fact that the majority of those CIOs and decision makers, they're actually not certain how they're going to implement that AI, how they're going to achieve those returns, and quite frankly, if they're going to be able to show ROI or return on investment over the next 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. And so what that shows me is that globally, AI has now become the IT department's biggest priority, right? Matched only by security. So the intersection of these disciplines, how do I implement AI securely, is even hotter on the radar, right? What excites me is that those CIOs and their line of business leaders need help to prove the value of AI. And that is exactly where we're investing in our AI services practice, right? We will have experts that understand and have hands-on experience implementing AI and evaluating AI technologies such that they can be secure, used responsibly, and then scaled across the workforce or across the user base. That, I think, is what is most needed right now when I speak with these IT decision makers, regardless of where they are in the world.
And one of the things that I've noticed is the contrast from the show floor at the tech conferences last year, where there was a lot of intrepidation, there was a little bit of caution, compared to the conversations I'm hearing this year. And there's so much excitement and enthusiasm, as you said there, but also a little bit of nervousness about how are we going to do this and what ROI are we going to have? What tangible differences will this technology make? And when you're looking at how to implement it, I'm curious, what organizational gaps do you see most commonly impeding that greater scale of AI technology? And how should businesses address some of these gaps? Because we know the tech's the fun part, but getting it in there and moving the boat forward, that's where it gets a little bit tricky or overwhelming and daunting for some.
It's a great question. You know, when I dive into the details of these conversations and take the ambitions down to brass tacks, the biggest roadblocks really fall into 4 categories, right? Number 1, as organizations think about the potential of this technology, they are considering the security implications, right? The security, kind of ethics implications, and data implications around data privacy, data sovereignty, and indeed data security as well. So as I think about this, it's almost like a Maslow's hierarchy of needs when it comes to implementing AI. The first roadblock that our partners and our customers want to make sure that they're comfortable with is whether this technology can be done fundamentally in a way that gives them confidence around their security and protection posture. So that's one of the major areas. The second major area that I see organizations considering is the impact on their people. I think that what is fantastic is that over the last decade or so, these organizations have worked with trusted IT business partners on various facets of digital transformation. But what we've learned over the past decade of digital transformation is that sometimes it doesn't take, right? Emerging technologies don't stick when they're adopted because there wasn't a strong adoption plan that took into account the end users, the people who are going to want to take advantage of this technology and to do it effectively, right? One great example is, there's a professor at Harvard Business School, Professor Lakhani, and he often gets the question about whether AI is going to replace humans. And I strongly believe in his sentiment that AI will not replace humans, but the humans who know how to use AI may indeed have an edge ahead of the humans who do not. And so that gets back to the point of this has really been internalized by these organizational leaders that in order for me to get my return on investment, it's not just about the technology and process choices that I make, it is also about my people plan. How do I get my staff comfortable with the enormous benefits that this technology can bring? And then also train and enable them, right? We need to identify where we're bringing in AI to augment the people and where we're bringing in AI to actually automate some of the tasks that they don't want to do, right? And then free up their time to do other things. So all of that in a nutshell is to say that when I talk to these global CIOs, CTOs, and CAIOs, what they've told me is they care about security, people, technology, and processes. And they need to have a plan and a roadmap around each of those 4 pillars. So that is exactly how we have built our AI services practice. Our approach is what I like to call security first and people-centric. Because we have found that with the organizations who are most successful in implementing AI and Gen AI, they take a security first approach that is people-centric. And once we have those 2 challenges out of the way, the technology and the processes become incredibly straightforward and expedient to implement.
And another reason I was excited to get you on the podcast was having read recently about Lenovo's new AI Center of Excellence. And for anyone listening that's not heard about that, can you just set the scene, tell everyone a little bit more about that? And also some of the best practices that you promote for setting internal AI standards, because standards, responsibility, ethics, again, big words when we're talking about this technology.
Yeah, that is a wonderful question, because one of the things that I'm very proud of is the way that our organization at Lenovo has been able to capture this moment and really bring to light and take advantage of a lot of the capabilities that we have incubated over the past decades, right? So we talk about the Lenovo Center of Excellence. This is a team, a global virtual team of experts who is available to facilitate customer conversations, organizational adoption journeys, and indeed the implementation and scaling of this technology. So on staff, we have consultants, right? We have data scientists. We have professional service engineers. We have IT experts kind of up and down the full IT stack. But then we also have those security focals. We also have certified change management practitioners. We also have process design experts. This is a very holistic approach that we have developed here in the AI Center for Excellence with the right level of skill sets across this end-to-end talent base, such that we can take this very 360-degree approach to help our customers successfully adopt AI. And the reason that we were able to bring this together so quickly is because Lenovo has been doing AI for decades, right? Many of our fellow organizations and partners and peers have as well. And when I look at the total industry, I think what's very exciting is that Gen AI and the democratization and access to Gen AI that hit the world by storm with, ChatGPT and Hugging Face and all of these technologies that became so accessible, that just became a catalyst, right? That has now brought forward and brought to light all of the great work that has been underlying these foundational AI developments that all of us have been investing in for so long. And so the AI Center of Excellence is really able to tap into a multi-decade knowledge base at Lenovo, where we have been, over the years, been implementing data processes, data analytics, right? Data science, machine learning, deep learning, and a lot of these processes and methods that have been part of our IT fabric even before Gen AI hit the world by storm.
And before you join me on the podcast today, I was also reading how, according to Lenovo's recent CIO report, AI and cybersecurity are possibly predictably top priorities for CIOs. So on behalf of any CIO listening anywhere in the world, what specific challenges do you see those CIOs facing in AI adoption and scaling AI. Anything stand out from the conversations that you're having?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct in the fact that CIOs see AI and security together as the biggest priorities for them in the coming year. As they look at how to then implement AI in a secure and responsible way, 3/4 of them say that their organizations do not have an AI-ready corporate policy on that ethical use that you mentioned, right? On how to operationalize this in the right way. Another 3/4 of the CIOs say that, their supply chain is not AI-ready, right? How do they make sure they adopt this not only from the people element, but then operationally in a way in which they can be comfortable? And so what we are able to bring through the AI Center of Excellence with our AI services are those advisory services that can help sit down with you as the decision maker, as the IT expert for your organization, sit down and determine what are the missing elements in your existing posture as it relates to secure technology that might need to be enhanced when it comes to AI and Gen AI adoption, right? We sit down with these decision makers and we take them through an assessment of how ready their organization is for AI along those dimensions of security, people, technology, and process. And then we can come in, for example, if they have big concerns on, security and processes, right? We can come in and then help them and advise on the best practices of our own corporate AI policy, which addresses pillars of data security and data sovereignty, how to include diversity and inclusion elements into their AI use cases. It addresses how to set up a responsible AI committee, right? Which Lenovo set up 2 years ago, I think, really ahead of the trend in order to facilitate a lot of these conversations about how to use AI effectively and also responsibly. That is a set of advisory services that we have built based on our own best practices deploying AI in our sales force, in our supply chain, in our manufacturing processes, in our software engineering teams, right? We are able to take all of our own kind of lessons learned, right? As well as successes and failing forward, take all of those lessons across the many POCs that we have done internally, and then even the scaled projects that we've deployed as well. We wrap those best practices together in a context that fits with the organizational questions and issues that our customers are raising to us.
And in many ways, it does feel like somewhat of an AI gold rush at the moment, with businesses around the world rushing to be a part of this AI narrative. But on the back of that, we've also seen the rise of things like AI washing, where some vendors mislead businesses or exaggerate their AI capabilities. And we're seeing businesses rushing, make mistakes with security or ethical responsibilities, etc. And we've seen in the past what happens when you move fast and break things. So how can businesses balance that urgency and need of AI adoption with that necessary speed and security measures required for a successful implementation and beyond? Because obviously it's not just a destination, it's somewhat of a journey, isn't it?
It absolutely is, Neil. And I think that is the importance of having an AI strategy and roadmap as we think about adopting this technology at scale. You're absolutely right that there's so much potential, and we are even internally with ourselves and with our customers seeing, needle moving results quite quickly in a lot of these experiments that we're running. But it does require us to step back as leaders and understand, what is the strategy for AI? Why are we implementing AI in these domains or in these departments, right? Earlier, I talked about knowing whether we are implementing AI to augment humans or actually to replace tasks or to replace processes that might be happening in the background, right? That's an important decision that we should know when we're going into any AI or Gen AI adoption project. Another way to frame it is to understand the goal of this AI initiative. Is it to improve productivity? Is it to achieve bottom line savings? Is it to speed up innovation, right? Or is it to touch more customers in a certain market? those again are for very important, but quite distinct objectives that will affect not just the technology decisions, but also the process design points, right? The people change management approach, and indeed, the security procedures that we need to undergo in order to make that particular project or initiative successful. You mentioned AI washing, and I wanted to pick up on that thread. I had a great conversation with one of the columnists at ZDNet just last month about this. I absolutely agree. There is such an AI gold rush, right? To get this technology into the hands of organizations. One of the things that I've noted is, I mentioned earlier, 96% of CIOs see their organizations investing more in AI over the coming year. I will tell you, a large portion of those CIOs are personally passionate about this topic, but there is a portion of those CIOs that are, kind of a little bit more cautious in their approach, yet regardless, they're being encouraged by their leaders and their board members to adopt AI, right? And to adopt it quickly. So I believe in that gold rush, whether it is a push or a pull, it is happening, right? And so the AI washing that happens, and I don't believe that it's nefarious. I really believe that it's because people are so excited and they're being, really encouraged to show results, that sometimes things will be attributed to AI or Gen AI technology, even when it's not quite there yet, right? Even when the capabilities are not quite mature, or even when the results are maybe not yet proven or directly attributable to AI or Gen AI. And so to me, I think the best way to prevent AI washing, or to kind of get ahead of this inclination, is to focus on real results, right? At Lenovo, we're all about practical innovation. So we want to ensure that our innovation is actually landing on the ground, right? Able to be operationalized. And the best way to do that is to look at the data and have those proof points. I think the data will not lie, right? The data will be able to show us, where are we actually achieving results with AI, or where have some of the experiments not proven out? And is that because of something that we need to prepare more for on security or people or technology or processes? Or is this just an initiative or an area that is not a fit for this flavor of AI or this particular set of AI tools that we have chosen? I think once we look at the data and we hold ourselves accountable for the results and indeed the user feedback, that is going to prevent us from AI washing, right? Because it will just be very clear where AI made an impact or not. And I think for our customers, one of the ways that we build trust is that we are very transparent, right? In terms of sharing what initiatives we have applied AI against, what type of AI, and then how we would attribute the results, right? We spend a lot of time and effort on ensuring that we understand what results we're aiming for up front. And then also, after we measure them through these milestones, attributing them back to what parts of the technology implementation really made a difference.
And something else we've got to mention is that AI is only as powerful as the data behind it. So when thinking about things like scale and strategy, the report mentions that many organizations are not AI ready, and that can affect IT's ability to scale AI quickly. And I would imagine there's a lot of organizations still have data silos and poor quality data, etc. So as a whole, though, not just about data, what steps can companies take to enhance that AI readiness and make sure they're ready to go? Any common themes that you're seeing here?
Absolutely. One of the biggest opportunities that I actually see with this AI and Gen AI revolution is the ability to have AI be the tide that kind of raises all boats, right? So it's the rising tide that is going to bring us all along and take us each to the next step of our own transformation journeys, right? Whether it means that we're at the cutting edge of AI adoption, or actually simply using this as a catalyst to get our data estate in order, right? So if I think back in my career, this is the third time around, right, where I have been fortunate to be in the midst of an AI revolution, right? If I think back to a couple of decades ago, high frequency transactions and high frequency trading were one of the first use cases for doing IT and performing data analysis at a much higher frequency and lower latency, right? So that was the first set of use cases that really kicked off, I think, the big data revolution, right? Which underpins a lot of the analytics and AI that we see today, right? So that was 2 decades ago. And even though not every single organization really had all of the same big data use cases, it was at least providing a catalyst such that organizations started paying attention to their data, right? Collecting their data and thinking about how they structure their data, right? So I think it got a lot of organizations there in terms of the data awareness and understanding the importance of data. If I fast forward to 1 decade ago, right, I think that the rise of a lot of accessible infrastructure and accessible computing really then allowed us to make strides in machine learning, right? A decade ago, the way that the AI revolution hit to me most impactfully as an organization leader was with machine learning. And so as this and the power of machine learning and the ability to use a lot of that big data that companies were collecting, as that really came to light, we saw, many organizations investing in standing up data science teams, right? Hiring machine learning engineers. We saw all these universities and academic institutions creating programs for machine learning engineering, deep learning, and AI. And so that's the way that it unfolded a decade ago. And whereas not every company was able to, implement machine learning at scale, I will tell you that it was a catalyst for a lot of companies to actually think about data and data analytics and how they use all the data that they had collected, right? Now we fast forward to now, or I would say maybe 18 to 24 months ago. Gen AI is the latest flavor, right? Multimodal Gen AI, a lot of these new trends that we're seeing of agentic reasoning. All of that is the flavor of, the new cutting edge of how we're going to use AI. I think it's generated a lot of awareness, excitement, and investment into this field. I fully believe that not every single company is going to adopt or need to adopt Gen AI everywhere. However, this excitement in the industry is now pulling forward a lot of companies and a lot of investment into at least ensuring that our tech stacks and our people are analytics ready, right? Or kind of traditional or classical AI ready. And so I think that as I step back, that was a long way of saying that in each phase of this AI revolution, I don't think that 100% of organizations need to be at that very cutting edge, because that's just a lot to ask of everyone to be completely ready to adopt the latest new thing, right? It takes time. Again, your people need to be ready. Your technology and processes, your security needs to be up to snuff. However, it is bringing all of us along to the next step of our respective journeys, wherever we are in that adoption curve. And so regardless of whether we're implementing the latest cutting edge AI technology or not, all of our customers are at least getting 1 or 2 or even 3 steps further up that data and AI maturity spectrum.
100% with you, and beautifully put there. And of course, there's another big trend right now, and that is sustainability. And many believe that AI will be able to help improve sustainability. But on the flip side, again, AI has a well-documented energy problem. So how do you see AI contributing to sustainability goals within an organization? And what challenges, again, do CIOs face in balancing AI adoption with their sustainability efforts?
On the sustainability side of things, where we see this paradox with AI and Gen AI is that it just requires so much more computational power, right? And we all know that compute consumes energy, right? Compute consumes resources. On the flip side of that, I think what AI can help us do much more effectively is to help optimize how those resources are consumed, right? So given that we are going to have much more of this demand for compute and for energy, the least we can do is to also use AI to figure out how do we consume those resources more optimally such that they can better align with sustainability and energy reduction and emission reduction goals, right? So the way that AI can boost sustainability is, yes, by optimizing the workloads, optimizing the compute resources, but then also helping to make the processes more efficient, right? To save time and resources. And by processes, I mean the processes by which we're using AI and also the processes that we hope to use AI to influence and to optimize. That is overall going to help us to be able to become more sustainable, not just in our direct use of AI, but in those use cases, in those functions, in those domains where we hope to apply AI, right? So, for example, as a global leader, as I look around the different operational domains where we're deploying AI, one of the areas that I think is most fascinating is how we can use AI to improve the efficiency of our supply chains, to reduce the lead time for our inventory warehouses, and to identify those customers and those regimes where sustainability is a high priority and how we map our product and services such that we can ensure we have the right offerings to be able to meet that demand. All of those are a way in which we're applying AI to a use case that ultimately has an objective of improving our sustainability effectiveness, right? Or reducing our carbon emissions footprint. And so that is what I think is quite exciting and kind of intersectional as we think about the objectives that AI can achieve. In our AI Center of Excellence, this is exactly why we have kind of AI experts by domain, but then we also have a tech modernization set of offerings, right? We also have a data services practice. And indeed, we also have sustainability consultants on staff. Because to your point earlier, Neil, AI and kind of Gen AI adoption is not just about AI itself as the end goal, right? When we aim for the results that AI can help us achieve, we are going to be pulled along that journey to modernize our technology, right? To get our data in order and indeed to address some of those sustainability ambitions that we've always had, but now we can use AI to make it a reality.
And just to bring to life what we're talking about here, do you have a use case, a case study, or an example maybe of how AI has actually made a company more sustainable? Because I think there's a lot of people and a lot of business leaders grappling with this problem, but it'd be great to hear a story of someone who have actually been able to successfully turn it around.
Absolutely, Neil. So at Lenovo, we actually have a net zero emissions goal by 2050, right? And so as a part of that, we're constantly looking at how do we better work toward a circular economy at Lenovo and in the products that we manufacture. So through our Lenovo Certified Refurbished program, we've actually used AI in the past couple of years to increase our ability to refurbish those devices. So our refurbishment rate per hour for a single model has now improved from 30 refurbished devices to more than 65. So that's more than a twofold increase in efficiency because we've been able to implement AI in the way that we refurbish these units and contribute to our circularity.
And the golden rule in IT has always been, if you can measure it, you can improve it. And with AI exploration, almost pulling resources from other key IT areas, how can CIOs ensure that their AI investments provide measurable ROI without compromising other essential functions? I understand it's a huge question and it's not probably almost a podcast episode on its own, but any advice here?
Yeah, and I think that you bring up a really strong point in that I know that as everyone looks across the landscape of resources and potential projects and quite frankly, bandwidth, right? Bandwidth and attention in their team, AI is something that is hitting the priority list of most organizations. And so the question is the trade-off, right? What do we trade off? I've seen probably roughly two ways that organizations tackle this, right? The first way is thinking about, okay, what do I trade off now that I'm prioritizing all this incredible AI potential, right? I think for organizations who are really viewing it in that way, where we can help is to understand strategically what are the benefits of the AI initiatives that they're pursuing, right? Again, is it about rapid innovation? Is it about cost savings? Is it about productivity gains, right? And by doing that overall prioritization in terms of outcomes, it actually helps these decision makers not just to think about, do I do AI or something else as a trade-off? It allows them to look at their overall set of project initiatives and determine, okay, which are the initiatives that are going to help me most meet my rapid innovation objective, right? Because I have prioritized that above, for example, cost savings, right? So then within those rapid innovation projects, which are the ones that are going to be more effective or even most effective because I can use AI to move the needle, right? Then that's the way that conversation can happen. Now, that's the first set of organizational leaders. I think there's another set of organizational leaders that have completely flipped the switch. They're not thinking necessarily about AI trading off with another investment. In fact, they're thinking about how can I inject AI as another weapon in my toolkit across all of my investments such that I can achieve more with less, right? That's actually the way that in my organization and in Lenovo, we're looking at using AI. We're actually embedding AI across all of our portfolio. So it's not an either or trade-off. It is more about how do we use this new weapon at our disposal, right? To make sure that our existing resources and our existing budgets can actually produce that much more. And I think that is the potential that AI is going to unlock. And that is the part of the AI ROI that is so exciting. Now, of course, in order to be able to measure that AI ROI, as you mentioned earlier, we have to be upfront in the planning and strategy stages to be able to understand where are we going to use AI most effectively? How are we going to ensure that the people can adopt this? How can we make sure the technology is ready? And then indeed, how do we target those investments to where they're going to achieve the most ROI? And in a very, again, kind of 360 view, this comes back in the feedback loop because AI and Gen AI can exactly help us answer those questions, right? We can use AI and Gen AI to run those simulations, to gather and analyze that telemetry that tells us which departments, which domains, and which use cases AI can most effectively achieve ROI based on the readiness across those areas.
I think that's such a powerful moment to end on. And I cannot thank you enough for sharing your invaluable insights with listeners all around the world today. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask you to leave one final gift for everyone. And that is, we have a Amazon wish list for books here that I ask my guests to leave, or a song for our Spotify playlist. I don't mind which, guilty pleasures are allowed, but what would you like to leave everyone listening with? What would you recommend?
Oh, sure. Well, just to capture the topic that we've discussed today and to put a button on it, I would recommend a book. It's called Co-Intelligence, Living and Working with AI. It's by this Wharton professor, Ethan Mollick. He has a great newsletter as well called One Useful Thing. And what is great about this book is that it really addresses a lot of the topics that we've talked about today, but not just on an enterprise or organizational level, but also on a personal level of how do I personally kind of live and work and adopt and implement AI as part of my life and make all of my kind of tasks and all of my initiatives and all of my personal priorities be executed in a more efficient or effective way using AI.
Wow. I was not only add that straight to the Amazon wish list, I will be checking that out myself. And throughout our conversation today, we've talked a lot about AI Center of Excellence from Lenovo. So where's the best place for listeners to find out more information about anything that we talked about today or contact you or your team? Where's the best starting point for everything?
Watch the Lenovo website, follow the Lenovo news, find me, right? I'm active on LinkedIn and various social media. So let me know, and I will be very happy to engage with you and your listeners on AI, using our methodology and our approach to help them to get the most and maximize those returns out of this emerging tech.
Well, I think everything that we've talked about today will resonate with business leaders of all sizes and around the world. We covered so much in a short amount of time, and I'd love to put the microphone back in front of everybody listening for them to share their story and be a part of this conversation. But more than anything, just thank you for shining a light on it and bringing it to life today. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Neil.
And as we wrap up today's conversation with Linda, I think it's clear that AI is not just a technological evolution, but a strategic imperative, one that requires thoughtful integration and leadership. From setting up AI governance to addressing data privacy and security, the journey towards AI maturity is, yes, complex, yet critical for future-proofing businesses. But what steps is your organisation going to take to ensure AI is implemented both securely and sustainably? Please share your experiences with me. You can email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilCHughes. Nice and easy to follow. But that's it for today, so thank you for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.